Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the IPA radio show. IPA standing for International Police Association Radio. I want to welcome you for our first broadcast, and I hope the idea behind this radio will be to introduce our listeners to the association, which is, by the way, worldwide, and I will be having guests on hopefully from different parts of the world to explain about their countries, their policing, and what they do as far as promoting brotherhood amongst law enforcement officers, which include, by the way, Border Patrol, auxiliary police, and different phases of the police work. Now, today's guest I have is the Interim President of the International Police Association, Section Canada. He was elected to the presidency of Region 2, which I belong to, which is located around Toronto, and served in the capacity of president until March 2018. He is currently president of Canada's section of the IPA. Chris, are you there?
I am, Les. Good to hear from you.
Well, thank you. I hope this goes well, since it's our first one, and I'm nervous as heck right now, to be honest with you. Chris, you've been involved, and you were a historian of the Police Association for quite some time. Can you explain a little bit about what the International Police Association is?
Sure. First and foremost, it's a social organization for all eligible member categories, not just retirees. A lot of people think that the International Police Association is solely for retirees. That's wrong. We strive to make at least a 50-50 split between serving and retired members. In Europe, where the IPA is far more popular, the balance is probably greater than 80% serving and 20% retirees, depending on which country you're talking about.
Wow.
But getting back, the International Police Association is one of the most unique and interesting social organizations in the world. It's a fraternal body dedicated to unite in service and in friendship all active and retired sworn members of law enforcement service worldwide.
Excellent.
We're in 63 countries, Les. We've got a membership of over 400,000. Steadily increasing. The membership is open to any serving or former police officer meeting the requirements as set out in the Canadian section of the Constitution. And the membership is offered regardless of rank, race, sex, color, or creed. And we've expanded the original, the original requisite was to be a police officer. We've expanded that now, knowing that law enforcement takes in far more than policing. We've expanded it to auxiliary members of police forces. We've expanded it to the Canadian Border Services Agency, to military police, and some select members, civilian members of police departments.
Wow, that sounds like a pretty open little organization where people of the similar minds and backgrounds can associate in the friendship, but all around the world. It really is good to hear that. Now, how did the IPA start?
It was the dream of one man. Sergeant Arthur Troop of the Lincolnshire, England police force had a dream to have police officers band together globally through friendship. So in 1950, his dream was realized with the formation of the IPA. Obviously, the first section that was formed was in England, and then it started to grow in Europe. The association motto describes perfectly its aims, which is Servo per Amico, which is translated from the Esperanto means service through friendship. And that's what we try to do, service through friendship.
And you know what, with my association so far with the International Police Association, I find the friendship to be very, very, very good. I went on a couple of trips to Europe. I met with officers, serving and non-serving officers, in Hungary especially, and I find them really, really accommodating to us Canadians. So
the underscoring principle of the organization is friendship. That's it's social friendship, bringing police officers or like-minded law enforcement professionals together.
Well, it's a wonderful concept. Officer Troop must have had a real good vision.
He did. He had an extremely good vision, and he worked hard. He passed, I think, around 10 years ago. He passed away, and he did see from that small seed he planted a large tree of over 400,000 members.
I feel so proud of that. I would be really proud of starting something like that. Now, when did it come to Canada?
Well, the Canadian section was formed in London, Ontario, in about 1960 by Reverend Charles Wright. Charles Wright was a policeman in England. I believe it was Southend-on-Sea is where he originated. He emigrated to Canada after serving in the war, and came to London, Ontario, where he joined the police department there. Eventually became a sergeant, and he was a member because Canada, actually North America, didn't have any IPA sections. He was a member of IPA France to start with.
Wow.
And slowly he looked around and he saw that there was a need, saw that it was fertile ground. So he started canvassing the police officers he knew. He was a pen friend, shall we say, because they didn't meet till many years later, of Arthur Troop. Because I am also the national historian of IPA, I've read the communications between Arthur and Charles, because back then, of course, it was all emails. It was letters. You would write it, wait 10 days before the recipient got the letter, and then, of course, they would reply, and you get it 10 days. So over a course of a month, there were 2 or 3 letters back and forth, and you can see, it's interesting, you can see how the progression and the plotting of bringing Canada on board as a member agency.
And it just shows the dedication of certain individuals to bring a vision to fruition, to make it look like that. Let's get it working. Let's get it moving. It's beneficial to everybody. Let's do it. And they did.
Yes, he did. And today we have 15 regions, or 15 chapters. We call them regions. There are the greatest concentration of them are here in Ontario. There's 5 regions in Ontario: Toronto, Ottawa, Niagara Peninsula, the London Waterloo area, and Windsor. We also have 2 regions in BC, one on Vancouver Island and in Victoria, and one in Vancouver. We have 3 in Alberta, 1 in Saskatchewan, 3 in Quebec, and 1 covering all of the maritime provinces.
Sounds like it's growing.
It is. We have ups and downs. We have approximately 2,000 members right now. It's a large country, and it's difficult for people to get out and recruit members.
Well, you know, it's kind of funny because I was in Lodge last night, and I'm talking to a couple of ex-police officers, and I asked them, why aren't you a member of the IPA? And you know what the answer was?
They didn't know anything about it.
Right.
and that's something I face, and I really can't understand why. We've certainly canvassed a lot of police departments in and around the GTA. We put our word out. We're visible on the internet. We do charity work within the GTA. We've canvassed retirees associations, York Regional Police Retirees Association, Metropolitan Toronto Police Retirees Association. So I don't know why. That's if I could unlock that problem, IPA would be flourishing.
Well, I to be honest with you, ever since I became a member of Region 2, I find that the camaraderie and the building of membership has been really good. For something that started off with what it may be 200 members, 150 members, look at it now, it's doubled.
Yes, here in Region 2, which is kind of short and long, it's goes from Lake Ontario right up to the Manitoba border, and from the west side of Peel region to just around Kingston. Within that domain, we have many thousands of police officers, and I would like to see many more members within our chapter and by extension the national body.
Let's hope that with this radio program, we can get it out to a bunch of law enforcement officers or ex-law enforcement officers, and hopefully get them on board to join and enjoy the fellowship, enjoy the camaraderie, enjoy the travel around the world, which we'll get to in a bit later. But what are the benefits of membership? Why would I want to join?
Well, there are a number of them. I guess the primary one, although I guess it depends on your outlook, but the primary one, the IPA creates an opportunity for cultural exchange and contacts on a local, national, and international level. It's a tremendous organization for members and their families who wish to travel to IPA member countries. The IPA offers something a travel agency can't. And that's nobody knows a city or town like a law enforcement professional who lives and works there.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV. Plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Barratt Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Barratt Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the International Police Association Radio. We're on the air with Chris Barratt, who is the Interim President of the Canadian International Police Canada section. Chris, we left off talking about the benefits of membership. Can you, if you remember, of course, can you continue where you left off?
Of course, Les, of course. What I was saying is that nobody knows the cities and towns that they live in like a police officer or a law professional. Members, IPA members are often extended courtesies, offered assistance, given tours that would not normally be available to the normal tourist. If you're a traveler seeking fun and excitement of far-off places, you'll be pleased to know that there will be a police officer there to advise you and guide you. That's got to be comforting. That's got to be a comforting, even if you don't avail yourself of any of the courtesies that they may be offered. I've often gone into a police station, identified myself as a member when I'm traveling in Europe or whatever, and say, listen, I'm a brother officer, here's my IPA, and as I said, it's very popular in Europe. Where can I go to get this? Or what's safe here? What should I do here? And they're more than willing to impart their knowledge to you. It may save you money, it may save you, or it may protect your safety.
Well, you know what? I remember when I was traveling around even the States and in Europe, I found that approaching the police officer, the local police officer, got me the best meals and the best rates on hotels that you can imagine. It just shows that those guys are involved every day with the people, with the businesses, and they know where to go and what to get and how to get it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And when you're traveling, although we don't like to say we're a travel agent, we facilitate some travel, but we have 63 properties in 21 countries that we control where members can stay in a reasonably priced accommodation, oftentimes close to the city center. I know that I was a couple of years ago in Madrid, and I stayed in an IPA house in Madrid, and very close to the city center. It was reasonably priced, very close to the things I wanted to see. Again in Spain, Barcelona was excellent. So these are advantages that you get. It's funny. An interesting story on how IPA houses started. In about 1959, there was a camping site in Germany near Cologne, where IPA members from all of Europe used to gather. The popularity of this camping site increased year by year. When it closed in 1968, I think it was an annual turnover of about 1,100 overnight stays.
Wow.
People really liked the area. And while they were there, one of the members that happened to be on the international board, saw this dilapidated castle in a small village of Gimborn, which was owned by a lord, a German lord at that particular time. This early group approached him and spoke to him about his castle, and we leased the castle on the condition that it was renovated by us meaning the IPA, not us meaning me.
Yeah.
So a committee was set up and later became the board of management for Gimborn. And today it's a full-fledged castle, pocket castle, where we run courses for IPA members and many. You don't have to be an IPA member, just a law enforcement practitioner in Europe. They run, I think, 12 to 15 courses a year, predominantly in German, but there are other languages spoken, English, Dutch, Spanish. We have 4 official languages in the IPA. That's English, Spanish, French, and German. So they often put on courses there, which are recognized across Europe, a lot of European attendance. Wow. And springing out of that is, I'll tell you in a minute about another advantage, which is learning opportunities that we give.
So Gameborn is in Germany?
It's near Cologne, Germany, yes.
And it's available to law enforcement members or ex-members like the IPA to take courses, right? Is that what you're saying?
To take courses, and there, if there's room, there's also a provision there to have overnight stays.
Wow.
Again,
so have you taken any courses there?
I have not. No, I have not. I've been retired 10 years now, so my need for taking policing courses has long gone by the wayside.
Yeah, I know that feeling.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, so tell me, you've been a member for a long time, and you're obviously very well versed in the IPA, International Police Association. Have you found it satisfying on a personal level as well as a international level, meaning associating with police officers, ex-police officers in different countries? Have you found it personally gratifying?
I have. I find it very interesting. I'm interested in history. I'm interested in how other people live, how other people live in other countries. And that satisfies it all. I've met some very, very interesting, friendly, enjoyable to be around people in my association with the IPA. And I've been all over the world. One of the more gratifying things I have is showing visitors my city, which is Toronto. I was born and raised in Toronto. I know it fairly well, although I did not work on the police down there. I worked in York Region. And having them stay with me here in my home, many a problem has been solved over a beer or two and a feast of whatever I can cook up. And just giving them the history of Toronto and the sights of Toronto, they're appreciative. I am proud of my city. I am proud of my organization. So that's certainly gratifying to me. And I've been treated with nothing but respect and kindness when I travel to Europe, or I've been to Australia, I've been to Hong Kong, I've been to Europe, the UK, United States, of course. And every time, without fail, I meet someone during that particular trip that I'll stay in contact with up until this point in my life.
I must admit, I went to Hungary on one of the friendship weeks, which we'll explain a bit later. Yeah. And I met a couple, but we had 40 some odd people traveling around different sites in Hungary, castles, wineries, all that stuff. And, I still converse with a couple of people from Malta and Denmark.
Yep.
And it's just fantastic. I've been invited over, come on over, stay at my house, do this, do that. I'll show you everything around that nobody else sees, that type of stuff. And that's wonderful to have. It's a good feeling. It's a real good feeling.
It's excellent. I mean, you meet in our job or in our ex-job, you used to meet people that you were suspicious of that perhaps weren't the sterling members of society. Here we're meeting friendly people that expect nothing from you except your friendship and respect.
Which is what it's all about, and I hope this keeps going and growing, and which we'll hope to do with this radio show.
Good.
Now, tell me, what are the membership requirements?
Membership requirements are you have to have been a police officer. I'm talking Canadian requirements. Yep. Other countries have slightly modified or different membership requirements. You have to have been a police officer or a serving police officer now, a member of the military police or an ex-military police, a member of the Canadian Border Services Agency or retired, a member of the Auxiliary Police Force or retired. And we have slightly broadened our vision on membership in that we accept civilian members that have been or are forensic specialists that go out in the field with the sworn officers, and also communication dispatchers that are direct working in a direct working relationship with the officers on the road.
Well, it seems like what we're talking about here is anybody that has any association with law enforcement, powers of arrest, that type of stuff. Is that what we're saying?
Essentially, yes. And I think it's becoming more and more recognized that policing is a team game. So I would expect sometime in the future, and it's certainly not up to me, it's up to the National Executive Committee to change the Constitution to allow this, but sometime in the future to again broaden our scope of membership requirements.
Yeah, I was looking at a site and looking at special constables like for the Toronto Transit Commission, the subways, Metro Links, and all that here in Canada, and I think we're going to be taking those people and accepting their applications if they have their right amount of time on, et cetera, et cetera.
We do accept some. It boils down to what are their powers of arrest? What is their actual job? Does it line up with citizens' powers of arrest? Does it line up with the police officers' powers of arrests? And it's done by a case-by-case basis because not all special constables are sworn in with the same powers. So just to say a special constable doesn't necessarily mean that they qualify.
Yeah, I noticed in Mississauga here where I live, we have special constables, but the only thing they're special... Oh, Chris, we got to take a quick break, and we'll come back in a couple of seconds. We'll continue.
From our broadcast studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, to the world and beyond, you're watching the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net.
AVS Media Demo.
You have heard of the X-Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X-Zone, Sci-Fi, and Horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Rob McConnell here, presenting an overview for Nicholas Paul Jennings, author of a fascinating book, Amen. It presents facts revealed by Egyptologists, facts that enable us to understand why Amen is the beginning of creation of God. It provides recommendations for religious leaders of the major religions to unify their beliefs and teach the Word of God. Love one another. Amen informs people how mankind conceived God. It was the Egyptians that developed the concepts of a soul, a hereafter, and Son of God. And finally, after the worship of many gods, they conceived the belief in one universal God, the maker of all there is. For more information, visit www.futureofgodamen.com. That's www.futureofgodamen.com.
Chris, my friend, are you still there?
I'm still here, Les.
Notice I used the word friend, right?
I got that.
Okay, good. Okay, just to remind our audience that we do have a website. It's IPA radioshow.net. And maybe you can write me emails or contact me in some way where we can bring on more people from your various countries and from various regions in Canada and the United States. We were talking about the membership, Chris, and I know we covered most of the bases, and I understand that sex and religion, all that stuff have nothing to do with it as long as you have the requirements as laid down by international.
Exactly. And it's actually national. Although international has given us broad powers, it's up to the national board to set what the membership requirements are in that particular section.
Okay, tell me this, Chris. If a police IPA member from, say, Germany moves to Canada, moves to the Toronto area, how would he get a hold of our particular, the Toronto Region 2 group to join?
There's a number of ways. Obviously, he would have, I would think, got a hold of his home country IPA and asked them to send a letter of introduction to us, to IPA Canada. We would discern which particular region that member was moving to, and we could either reach out to them and say, hi, welcome, glad to have you with us. You can transfer your membership here. Or conversely, they can look on the internet and pick out IPA Canada. The website is ipacanada.ca, and it delineates all the different regions that we have and what the primary city around that is. They can contact that section. Memberships are interchangeable. Certainly, we accept, for the most part, all IPA members. I haven't come across a case where we have not yet. Certainly, we've had members from Poland, from the Ukraine, from the UK, from Germany, from Kenya, all transferred to Region 2, bringing their experiences from their home country to us.
And, seeing this experiences in home country, I've learned quite a bit since we've had some visitors at some of our meetings. And it's really nice to see how we're different and yet we're the same in both enforcing law and enforcing the camaraderie that seems to be prevalent with all the group and the association. It's wonderful to see. Wonderful.
Yeah, it's something that we offer. Should we be having a meeting at the time that the visitor is present, we certainly encourage them to get up and do a little dissertation as to what their home country's like, what the IPA is like there, what they've done, what they want to do. Again, we try to accommodate visitors because Toronto is one of the biggest cities in Canada. We get a lot of IPA visitors coming to Toronto and area, and we try our best to accommodate them, take them around Toronto, see the CN Tower. We ask them what is on their bucket list, so to speak, and try to make sure that they get to see it or at least get information on how best to see it.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now, here's some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Come next year, the Friendship Week, which is basically visitors from around the world going to a city or a country and having a week of camaraderie with the host club. I believe Region 2 is putting this on in, I think it's June of next year.
That's correct. Well, it's May the 31st through June the 8th. Region 2 is putting it on, and we're having 52 foreign visitors from whatever IPA country they come from. I've had inquiries already from Spain, Italy, and France, and the UK. We plan on the guest or the host hotel will be the Monte Carlo Inn in the airport in Mississauga. We plan on taking our visitors to the Barrie Aboriginals Exhibition Center for a powwow. They have their yearly powwow. I think it's June the 1st. The Aboriginal culture is very interesting to Europeans because they can only read about it or see it in the movies. They can't experience it like we can here in Canada.
No, I must admit we're pretty lucky in Canada.
We are extremely lucky in Canada. So after that, they'll come back, and we are also having our annual general meeting at the same time at the same hotel. So that night we will banquet them at the Peel Regional Police Social Club, along with the annual general meeting members from all over Canada, which should be a pleasant intermingling of the foreign visitors and our Canadian visitors all in the same place. The next day we plan to take them to Niagara Falls to view the falls. Obviously, that's one of the 7 wonders of the world, natural wonders of the world. That's one of the big draws that this particular area has. While we're down there, we want to make sure that we involve our Niagara Region chapter, Region 10, and there will be a meeting of the Region 10 folks and our visitors. We'll sit down and have dinner. After that, we're going to travel to the Thousand Island area, where we plan on having a tour of whatever city we end up in, whether it's Kingston, Gananoque, Brockville, or Rockland. Then do a dinner cruise on the St. Lawrence. The day after that, we head to Ottawa for 2 days, where our visitors will be treated to meeting the Region 6 folks out there for dinner, along with tours of the Canadian Military Museum, War Museum, a tour of the Mint, Parliament Building, see the Parliament Building light show, the Cathedral in Ottawa, which is a spectacular and old or ancient historical building. Then come back to Toronto, where again we'll have a gala dinner as the last night dinner, and then the guests will disperse to their either home countries or continue visiting Canada and other places.
Wow, it sounds like a real good program, and I hope the countries from around the world. I know you were talking about getting inquiries. I've had 2 inquiries, just to let you know.
Excellent.
One was from Germany, and the other one was from Ukraine.
Excellent.
So
Thanks.
I replied to them that as soon as we get the final programming and all that stuff done and the costing, that I will let them know what is transpiring. So we're getting along. But it sounds like a real good week real tiring week, to be honest with you.
It's going to be, and it's been a year and a half, or it will be a year and a half in the planning, or almost 2 years in the planning, and that's the difficult part, because you're trying to forecast what's going to happen in a year and a half, forecast pricing, and a lot of the hotels and restaurants and that are reticent in giving you 2019 prices in the end of 2017. So it's a challenge, but we'll get it done, and we've got a great team working for us. That's what really, I have been lucky when I was the president of Region 2 of having an extremely hardworking board. I don't think there's anything that I've asked that hasn't been done. They're enthusiastic. They're along with the program. Friendship is the key core of the organization. So they understand that. They enjoy that, and I have a great time in their company.
Well,
it's not only Canada. Go ahead, Les. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I've noticed in attending our meetings, our monthly meetings, that I noticed the attendance increasing. And I thought to myself, boy, that really shows that the guys and the girls are getting along well together and are able to communicate on a level basis.
Yeah,
I think that's wonderful.
It's exactly, and it's not that we don't disagree, but we disagree respectfully. We disagree and still listen to the other person's argument.
Oh, absolutely.
So that makes it a very functional board. It makes it a very wise board, and we get things done. We've improved on our social programs. We have 2 fun handgun shoots during the year, a spring and a fall, where members come out and even non-members come out, spouses, friends come out and partake in a fun handgun shoot. Many of the people that come as guests and friends have never shot a handgun before. We have safety officers there, range safety officers. It's moderately priced. They, without fail, after it's all over, as people are leaving, they'll say they'll be back. It's been an enjoyable time for them. It's been an experience they've had not before. And with the retired officers, it's just getting back into the harness again and having the feel of that firearm in their hand, but no pressure, no red lights and sirens, just an easy shoot.
I must admit, the time I went, I really enjoyed the shoot. It's just unfortunate that I haven't been able to attend more of them, because I hear back from some of the fellows and girls that they really enjoy going, and like you say, holding that gun in their hands again after a while and actually shooting and actually hitting the target.
Yeah.
Chris, we got to take a break. We'll catch you on the other end.
Okay.
You have heard of the X Zone? Now watch it on Simul TV, plus 500 video games, live TV channels, free video on demand, worldwide, and more. Does this sound like tomorrow's television? Well, it is, but you can have it today, right now. It is Simul TV. Simul TV offers what the others only wish they could provide. 15 exclusive channels like X Zone, sci-fi, and horror. We are worldwide. No other provider offers that. 500 built-in video games. No need to have an extra expensive system. We have them included. Free video on demand. Live streaming events from around the world. Interactive online network, and much more. Tomorrow's TV today. Simul TV. Sound too good to be true? Well, it's not. You can have Simul TV today. Sign up at simultv.com. Do it today.
The new nonfiction book, Razor of Madness, is similar to cult movies like Clockwork Orange, Dragon's Tattoo, or The Other Side of Hell. Wayne Morin Jr. and Thomas Lee Howe will expose widespread and systematic deficiencies in this thought-provoking tell-all novel. Mind control rages among scholars in law schools. Human rights are ignored while thought reform and mental manipulation are accepted practices used as behavior modification. Dr. Louis Jolyon West comes to mind. Media and public scrutiny shows that United States mental hospitals are in fact destructive murder industries. Razor of Madness expose novel details this epidemic through an in-depth professional and personal investigation. For decades, there has been a revolving door policy that still releases killers and pedophiles back into society. The maestro of mind control continues to haunt America to this very day. Razor of Madness is available in paperback or as a downloadable ebook at Amazon.com.
I'm William S. Peckham. If you enjoy a good mystery with a touch of the paranormal, then you'll love my novel, From Out of the Woodwork. It's the story of a young Toronto contractor, Sean Kennedy, who buys derelict homes, guts them, and turns them into multifamily dwellings. Slums just waiting to happen. When Sean buys 29 Livery Lane, the house fights back. Former owners unexpectedly come out of the woodwork as he starts the destruction. The apparitions come to him when he touches old books, reads hidden letters, rummages through old boxes, finds a locket, or reads a discovered manuscript of a murder mystery. From Out of the Woodwork will take you from 1899 to the horror of the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. Check out From Out of the Woodwork on my website, www.williamspeckham.com.
Welcome back, everybody, to the International Police Association radio show. This is our final segment. Remind you of our website, IPAradioshow.net, which can, if you want to look it up when our radio show is on, which will be on next week, is nzbn.net. They have a schedule up there on when our radio show is broadcast at different time zones around the world. Chris, welcome back. We did pretty good, actually. I was kind of worried about not having enough to talk to, but boy, when you get into this, it seems to be going on, and it's such a wonderful organization to belong to. If I knew about it 30, 40 years ago, I think I would have joined.
That's good to know, and I hope that other people are hearing and are listening, and I hope that they come and join us. I think we were talking about friendship weeks and different events that happen. Canada's having one, obviously. Region 2 is having one, and Region 7, which is Quebec-based, Montreal-based, is having one September of 2019, where they're coming the other way. They're starting in Montreal and going to Quebec City and Ottawa, up to Thousand Islands and around. I think they are predominantly going to work in the French language, whereas we predominantly will work in the English language on our tour. But looking across the world, and especially this year, we see that Austria had an IPA ski week. We see that Poland had an international football tournament for uniformed officers. Germany, the IPA Cologne International Carnival Week. Croatia is just finishing a 2-week friendship tour through Dubrovnik and Split, Serbia, and all there. I've been on that tour, and it's an excellent tour, very reasonable, and met friends from all over the world. In fact, Spanish people that I met there, I have kept in touch with and have visited in Spain.
You know, I was you're mentioning about different events. The law enforcement IPA have fishing weeks. Well, 30 or 40 of them will go away and do some fishing, or go hunting, or go boating, and they'll take these trips around the rivers and have a nice little party.
Yeah.
And what they do is, and I should mention before we go any further, that each country has a website.
Yes.
It's easily accessible on the internet.
Well, if you go to the International Police Association website, which is IPA-IAC.org, all of our sections are listed there alphabetically. You could see what sections there are, who the presidents are, what events are going on that year and next. We've been very heavy on the travel part of things, but we also have a lot of other things that we do. Hobbyists such as stamp and insignia collections. You get contacts from all over the world with people with like hobbies. There's a ham radio operators club. Pen pals, of course. We often get requests from in Europe, especially France and Spain, asking if their children can converse with our children of like ages so they can learn English and our child can learn whatever language they happen to speak. Local regions have social functions, dinner meetings, guest speakers, picnic trips, guest hosting. The possibilities are endless. So it's not just travel. We do a social side in Canada, here in region, as well as there are training opportunities available. We have a young police officer seminar held every 2 years in a different country, where again, young officers, last year it was in Green Bay, Wisconsin, I've heard from our particular, we had two participants, one here from Region 2 and one from Region 16. And I know for a fact the Region 16 officer keeps in touch with 10 or 12 members of the class that he was in.
Beautiful. That's what it's all about.
It is. It's increasing the knowledge, increasing the visibility of professionalism in policing, the friendship and the social side.
Well, it seems to be working.
I hope so. I hope so. And I hope we can continue, and I hope it gets more widely recognized.
Well, let's hope that with this program, and I know this is our first one, and you know I'm as nervous as the first time I put on a gun. And you know I was nervous. You know I couldn't undo the flap. You know back then it used to be the flap that sort of put on a button.
Yeah.
And it took me a whole bunch of time to figure out how to undo that darn thing. But anyway,
you were crossing your body anyway, so that made it that hard.
Yeah, that's true too. I forgot about that one. Yeah. Of course.
There's also a number of other things, Les, such as we sponsor short stories, essay contests, competitions, photo competitions. There are scholarship opportunities open to members. The Arthur Troop Scholarship. If you qualify, we pick at least one member from every continent that has IPA sections, and they can be awarded up to 2,300 euros to go to a course, not necessarily in Gimborne or in our college, but in any policing facility in the world. We will pay a good portion of their tuition and travel.
Geez, I wish I was young again.
Yes, I hear you, buddy. I hear you.
Just to mention to the audience, IPARadioshow.net for further information. And please, we welcome all your questions, your interests, anything that to further the relationship, the friendship that we want to build up across the world between the International Police Association membership. Also, the schedule for all these broadcasts is on xzbn.net. Please look it up and find out when we're on. Listen to us. And please have some input for us. Chris, we forgot to mention that in Region 2, for example, not only do we have the handgun shoot, we also have a barbecue in the summer. Yes. and a Christmas party near Christmas.
Yes, the Christmas party has been not only a party, it's a dinner, dance, and awards night, at which time we recognize milestone membership periods within, for some of our members, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I've been very fortunate the last 5 years at the dinner, dance, and Christmas awards banquet to at least present one 50-year membership pin to a recipient. So it's not only for the new people, it's also for the people who have been around. And if you've been around for 50 years, it must be a good club.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding. By the way, you dance very well.
Thank you. Not that we've danced together, right?
I hope not. Anyway, Chris, I've really enjoyed this. I know our time is getting kind of short. Is there anything you want to highlight that would make it more, not that we haven't covered everything, but would make it more universal, worldwide, that people can be involved in this group? Is there anything that comes to mind?
I guess I want to clear up a misnomer. Unfortunately, when Arthur Troop formed this organization, he used the word association. That has a connotation in Canada of being a labor group. We're not allowed to have unions per se, so they call them police associations, and they're the ones that bargain for police organizations, get involved in disciplinary proceedings. That has nothing to do with the International Police Association. We are a social group and a social group only. We don't get involved in politics. We don't get involved in discipline, union matters, anything like that. It's purely social. And as I stated at the outset, there is no rank in the International Police Association. We have many chiefs of police, and we have many, many constables. And once they're in the room, once they're at a function, it's you're an IPA member only.
Well, that clears it up. It's an association of like-minded individuals involved in law enforcement to benefit each other and benefit our comrades across the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I can only urge those folks out there that have the requisite service to come and join us. We certainly welcome them with open arms. The membership fee at this particular time is $35 a year, certainly not onerous. With that, you get a membership card, a pin, and all the privileges that the IPA has to offer: scholarships, travel, functions, newsletter. They are all available to members.
Well, they sure are. And I found also that, just another little branch off here, but that trading badges, for example, or shoulder patches with different police departments has really gone. I remember when I went to Hungary, I took about 6 badges with me and a couple of pins. And boy, oh boy, it opened a lot of doors.
It does.
Chris, we're coming to the end. I want to thank you very much. I was talking to Chris Barratt. He is currently the Interim President of Canada section of the IPA.
Modern Esoteric, Beyond Our Senses by Barratt Olson, consummates the lifeology story about where humanity originates. It is the lost continents, the primitive wisdom, the mythos of creation, and the rethinking of ancient history as we are taught in academia. There is much more to the story than what we have been told. As this is the first book in the Esoteric series, Modern Esoteric starts at the beginning of time and accelerates up to this modern age. Future Esoteric is book 2 in the series and takes a forward-looking position ahead of today with an open and honest examination of the ET issue and various unexplained phenomena. To discover the writings of author Barratt Olson, visit www.bradolson.com. That's www.bradolson.com. Are you or is someone you know struggling with addictions, depression, anxiety, relationships, low self-esteem, lack of confidence, grief, success, and prosperity? Do you know that your subconscious belief plays a big role in the outcome of your hard work? We can help you permanently change the beliefs that may be the reason for your struggles and failures. We care about getting you the return on your investment and the results you are looking for. We can help you be free of the limitations of your past and in realizing your highest potential. We work with people by phone and Skype. For more information, visit us at www.ritasoman.com. That's www.ritasoman.com. Do you think you have energy problems in your home? Do you feel better when you're away than when you're home? Joey Korn is a global leader in the world of dowsing who specializes in personal energy clearing and space clearing. He can help you create an ideal energy environment in your home no matter where you live in the world. Learn about his remote spiritual house cleaning services and much more at www.dowsers.com. You can get Joey's book, Dowsing, A Path to Enlightenment, as well as other dowsing books and tools, Kabbalah books, and Walter Russell books. Joey's work is really amazing. Go to dowsers.com right now. That's DOWSERS.com or call 1-877-DOWSING. That's 1-877-369-7464.